what time it is. Just a little time to sow some seeds of love. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope that you're having an absolutely beautiful, joyous, happiness-filled day, evening, night, whatever time that this video finds you, whether it's 5 minutes from 5 minutes from this video's upload date or 2 years down the road. I'm happy to see you no matter what. We are going to listen today. Hold on, the light is not even really showing it very well. We're going to listen today to some more Tears for Fears. We're moving on to the next track, Swords and Knives, released 1989. I was actually gifted, very generously by the way, the album itself, which you can see here. And I'll pretty much peek through it a little bit. I'll show you guys some stuff on here while I listen to the music. I should have aimed the light a little bit better because the way the light is right now, it's not like you can't see anything properly. Like, I don't know if I can really move it sitting down like this. This is probably a little better. Maybe this is a little better. Is that a little better? I can't tell. It looks the exact same. Anyways, let's listen to the music. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Let's go. Didn't have to go that hard. God. They did not have to go that hard in on a song like that. This album, this album might take over Songs from the Big Chair as my favorite TFF album. I gotta finish it still. And it could fall directly on its face on the last few tracks, but this album has an atmosphere like none of their other albums I've heard. Not that but like it just has a unique approach to music. The closest thing I can think of, like, they remind me a little bit, and I'm talking very, very indirectly, of Peter Gabriel in a sense. There's this beautiful production. I mean, the production is amazing here. Like that is part of what's making this all for me. But just the marriage between their voices, the piano, the guitar playing, all the atmospheres going on in between that I don't know what they're like, what's creating it. It's just something in there. The bass, like a river, on top of which all the other melodies are floating along in a canoe, is beautiful. Then on this particular track, you have Tessa Niles featuring with female vocals that just, it adds such a beautiful delight on top of the music already, which is already way beyond solid, right? But then as soon as you hear her vocals, it's so sweet and like directive. Like it just puts something in you. I really like that section where the guitar breaks off about 3/4 of the way through, and then the acoustic guitar just lightly, strikingly, but still playfully kind of dances around the piano before coming in a little bit more full, and then the music kind of kicks back to it. This is just, I feel like you would just like fall into like a pool of melody. That's what listening to this is like. It's just like falling back and like letting these explosions and ripples of color and vibrancy, as you see with the album cover. Like, you know, it's right there laid out on the story, on the cover of the album. Like it actually feels like you're entering this world. You're entering the world of which this album art inhibits. That is wonderful. That is extremely, extremely good. I was not listening to the lyrics at all. I'll be 100% honest. I was not looking at them, so I don't know what we're talking about yet. But I think it's like the echo on the piano, the bass, of course, their harmonies. That's correct, kind of creating that atmosphere that I'm talking about. It's like it's a thick and dense atmosphere, but at the same time, it's really, really light. It's like Cool Whip. Let's go ahead and talk about these lyrics. Swords and Knives. A waking world of innocence. What are we? Sandman? Those so grave, those firstborn cries. When life begins with needles and pins, it ends with swords and knives. Okay, so coming from birth, the first, breaths of life, newborn life, it begins with a little bit of like peace, but also a little bit of anxiousness. Like this new life has to be cared for and nurtured and grown up. And then life ends with swords and knives, war, violence, etc., etc. Oh, danger man, your blade fits like a glove. When forged in steel, time cannot heal that blood red bond of love. In times of trouble, you're an open book with the change in the way you look. And it's sad, love's not enough to make things better. So, as much love as there is in the world, it's still not enough to make things better, to end a cycle of violence and etc. Turn the tables, we'll burn the fables. Lies beneath the visions and daydreams. Fooled by now, we mystify the past like a dream, like it never happened. I like that. Turn the tables, we'll burn the fables. Lies beneath the visions and the daydreams. Forgetting your history. I don't necessarily take that as like an attack on religions where he's saying like we'll burn the fables, although I can see it that way. I think it's more of revising history, of revisionist history. Like we know things happen in the past. Let's not glorify it. Let's not forget about it. Let's not forget the history. Because, of course, as the phrase goes, if you don't remember history, you're going to be doomed to repeat it and repeat it. So we have to break that cycle. Somehow, we have to break the cycle. Don't mystify the past like a dream, like it never happened. Oh, that was hundreds of years ago. You know, it literally does not affect me now. Yes, it does. That's exactly what history does, and that's why it's so important. When life begins with needles and pins, it ends with swords and knives. God save those born to die, which, in other words, God save us all. Great lyrics, fantastic music. I really love the atmosphere that they have in this album. They've nailed it in this album. And thinking about songs from the Big Chair, they have it in there especially. Like, you guys know if you've watched me before, you know my favorite track on that album, definitely one of my top TFF songs is The Working Hour. That song just has that atmosphere that I'm looking for, like, indefinitely. And I'm kind of feeling similar feelings in listening not only to this particular track, but really throughout this whole album. So let me know what you guys thought, though. You can let me know in the comments down below. You can follow me on Twitter. You can support the channel on Patreon. Thank you, as always, for being here. And I'll see you all later. Bye.